Now we're ready?
We are.
We are ready. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Bangor City Council. Today is Monday, December 11th, 2023. It is 7:30 p.m. As always, we begin our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. I wonder if Josh Alessio from Heal would be going to lead us in the pledge.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Thank you. Before we do public comment tonight, we're actually going to begin the meeting with a proclamation. We have a proclamation proclaiming December 1st. Oh, we need to do a roll call because we have a council on Zoom. So we'll begin with a roll call.
Councilor Dean,
Yes.
Councilor Fish,
Yes.
Councilor Fournier. Councilor Haas is absent, Councilor Leonard is absent, Councilor Schaefer.
Here.
Councilor Trumbull, just left the room, but he is here. Councilor Yakobaga is absent, and Councilor Pelletier.
Here.
6 present, 3 absent.
Thank you.
Trumbull is back.
Here.
All right, with that, we have a proclamation proclaiming December 1st, 2023 as World AIDS Day. Councilor Schaefer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas HIV and AIDS, as well as the stigma that people with HIV and AIDS face, continue to be a major concern here in Maine, across the country and around the world. And whereas the global epidemic of HIV infection and AIDS requires a worldwide effort to increase communication, education, and united action to stop the spread of HIV and AIDS. And whereas Health Equity Alliance, HEAL, formerly known as Downey's AIDS Network, observes December 1st of each year as World AIDS Day to champion those creating positive change in the movement against the epidemic and brings into focus the remaining challenges and barriers for individuals living with HIV and AIDS. And whereas World AIDS Day provides an opportunity to focus on local, state, national, and worldwide attention on HIV and AIDS and to share with the community information on how to prevent the spread of HIV. And whereas these inequalities include a need for an increase in the availability, quality, and suitability of services for HIV treatment, testing, and prevention so that everyone is well served. And whereas in recognition of the fact that the fight against HIV and AIDS will be won by scientific research and by breaking down stigma, marginalization, and all barriers to effective HIV prevention. And whereas undetectable equals untransmittable, or U equals U, has been shown through scientific research that if a person with HIV is on HIV medication with a consistently undetectable HIV viral load, the virus cannot be transmitted to a sexual partner, and people with HIV can lead healthy lives without fear of transmission. And whereas as part of this year's World AIDS Day observance, all people are encouraged to understand and spread information about U equals U, to be informed and educated about the risks of HIV infection, to fight against deadly stigma whenever possible, and to support the delivery of care for those living with a positive status and those affected by the HIV and AIDS epidemic. Now, therefore, I, Gretchen Schaefer, on behalf of Kara Pelletier, Mayor of the City of Bangor, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Bangor, do hereby proclaim December 1st, 2023 as World AIDS Day in the City of Bangor.
Thank you. And we have Josh Alessio from HEAL. If you'd like to step forward.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Would you like to say any words? Put you right on the spot.
Wow, twice in one day. Thank you. I appreciate that because I planned so much before I got here. I was touched by the words that were read, and I was reminded while you were reading of the gratitude that I have for your support in fighting infectious diseases in our community. It's deeply meaningful to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on, this is the portion of the meeting set aside for public comment. Public comment, whether in person or through Zoom, requires a person to please state their name and address. Inappropriate or offensive remarks may be removed, and the council chair has discretion over the time allowed for comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes for public comment tonight. If you'd like to offer comment on any item that does not appear on the regular agenda, please approach the podium. On Zoom, the public may be recognized to speak by the hand raise function, or if you're on the phone, by pressing *9.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. My name is Dwight McIntosh. I reside at 55 East Broadway here in Bangor. And I come to you this evening as a concerned citizen. With what's been going on with the development up in our neighborhood, I'm quite sure that you folks are very much aware of what happened over the night last night with the flooding. If none of you are aware, we had quite a mess going on. In regards to the flooding situation that we had today, we've had a number of people involved in this. And it was supposed to have been worked over a period of time to resolve an issue such as runoff, things of this nature. Well, apparently it didn't work. It failed miserably. Not just for us, for other parts of the city, but specifically in my neighborhood as well, New Jersey. Number one, I don't know who oversees the planning board. I don't know who oversees these different departments. But somebody missed the boat here. Something went awash. I don't know what happened. I've been awake. I was awake all night. I slept through the flood. But when it happened all at once. It took out a lot of areas, flooded a lot of areas in my neighborhood, including my garage. I've never had standing water in my backyard. I've got it now. I'm very concerned about what's going to happen this springtime. We didn't have any frost in the ground to speak of. We didn't have any snow coverage to speak of. It was all gone before we got the heavy rain. Now, we all know we live in Maine. We get a lot of rain in the spring. We have a lot of standing snow on the ground. We often have a lot of frost in the ground. Could this have happened this spring? Yes. If it does, what then? What are we looking at? Somebody's got to take a real hard look at this, please. I'm begging you to take a hard look at what happened last night. But let's put every piece of this scenario together as to what can happen. For God's sakes, let's look at this in the big picture. Because I don't want my house flooded out any worse than what it is right now. I'm angry. But I'm more afraid of what's going to happen later on this spring. What can happen? It may not. But if it's any kind of picture that was painted like it was painted last night, we got a major issue on our hands. We've lost a lot of ground here. We've lost trees, we've lost soil, we've lost everything that retains anything in the ground is gone. Trees, grass, bushes, everything is gone. There was no sign of any hay or anything put down to prevent any runoff. There was a big farm pond there, I don't know what you call it. It's a big pond behind my house. It's empty now. We know where it went. What's going to happen? Folks, I don't know. I'm begging for you people to look around. Look at these departments that's supposed to be overseeing this. Somebody didn't do their job. Somebody dropped the ball. There was no hay put on the ground. Supposed to be all kinds of this prevention this, prevention that. No hay, then no nothing. All kinds of groundwork been done. There's a huge pile of dirt behind my house at 55 East Broadway. And folks, I invite any one of you to come to my home. You will be graciously received. Coffee, I'll even go Dan's good sandwiches for you if you want. But I'm just saying, you have to please just come look. Please come look and see what we got. Because God forbid, if that pile lets go, you're not going to have to bury it. It'll be all done.
Mr. McIntosh, thank you, sir. Your time is up, but I do see
Thank
the
you.
city manager has taken down your name and address and will be looking into it for you.
Outstanding. Thank you so
very
much
much, sir.
for listening.
Thank you. Yes.
Good evening, folks. My name is Brian Ames. I live at 124 Lancaster Avenue, and I'm here to follow up a little bit on Dwight's concerns about the flood this morning. As we know, that flood impacted Broadway, it impacted Alden Street, and probably went down the storm drains all the way to the Arctic Brook, which is a major environmental issue. But that's not really why I'm here to talk to you tonight. I am talking to you more about the long-term situation and the process that we're now in with the developer of that subdivision. As you know, he's been under construction now for quite a while, and it was preliminary approved last week. However, the neighbors and those concerns have not been allowed to submit further information. What I submit to you tonight is that this situation proves that more information needs to be submitted by the applicant to make sure that he has thoroughly looked at this situation and has taken every step possible to make sure that once this is fully implemented, that wet pond will not fail again. This is a very important issue that we all need to be concerned about. And I think that further engineering needs to be done, further research on the soils and the underlying subgrades of that pond so that we can have a good geotechnical research and design for that embankment, which is actually pretty high and will contain a substantial amount of water when it's finally finished. So we asked that we would be allowed as well to submit further information from the opponents of this that would enlighten the planning board on the issues concerning the design and the implementation of the conditional use permit. So that's what we're asking for tonight, and hope that you'll impart this message to the planning board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. My name is Michael Norton. I'm at 83 Elm Street, Unit C, Bangor. Love has greater bandwidth than the visible radius of the universe. Love is not passion. Love is not patience. Love has no rationality, but it is the genesis for rationality. The planet's temperature is on average every day 81.25 degrees Fahrenheit, and our leadership worldwide prints it on the web as 59 to 61 degrees every other day. And nobody knows the quantity of field lines on planet Earth. We're still drawing the field lines as if we're living in the 1950s and giving that to our classrooms and educators and students. We don't know that the four tides every day are distinguishable by the periodic table of elements. And we hold the Coriolis effect as a great mystery of the invisible unknown of magnetism. It's absolutely preposterous. I was expecting to see Jim Carrey here tonight, and he's not. And I guess I have to go pray to Santa and write Santa a letter. Maybe I'll meet Jim sometime soon to get a little media credit and have a wonderful 2024 with the rest of the speaking English universe. I thank you very much and wish you all a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Mr. Norton. Anyone else in the room? Yes.
Hello, my name is Trisha Quirk and I live at 208 French Street and I come as a concerned citizen. 2 weeks ago, I represent a client who has a vacant home listed at 277 Webster Avenue. And 2 weeks ago, I had a report from a neighbor that said that there was a tent on the back side of the property and that it was occupied. And being private property, I thought I would call the police department and it would be considered trespassing. So I did that. I called the Bangor PD and they were very nice and they they connected me with the BCAT, counselor. And during that conversation, he told me that part of the process is that tent has to be posted and that the occupant had 24 hours to vacate the property. So I went later that day and the property had been posted. And the tent was still there. So the next morning, I got a call from a concerned neighbor saying that we now had 3 tents and a shopping cart. And so I again called the Bangor Police Department and they connected me with the counselor. And he told me that he had to post the 2 tents that had arrived overnight. And so as an agent of my client, I asked what would happen if these folks decided to stay and that more of their friends decided to join them. And he said that, I'd hoped that that wouldn't happen and that he would go and try to talk with the occupants and, and suggest that they move along. So the following day, we had another shopping cart and we had several grocery items that were unopened but strewn around the camping site. I talked with the Bangor Police Department and the counselor that day was unavailable. It happened to be Thanksgiving. And they told me that they would go and take a walk around. So I had a client that was showing the house, a colleague that was showing the house. And when they got there, the lockbox was open and the key was missing. And the lock was broken off the back cabin door. And so I again called the Bangor Police Department. I had a handyman go over and install some emergency lighting that was, motion censored, and replaced my lockbox. I had a locksmith come over, change the locks. Not saying that this was, that this was done by a occupant of one of the tents, but it certainly did coincide with the same timing. So during this whole
I'm
event.
sorry to interrupt you. Your 3 minutes are up, but I'd like to give you 1 more minute.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very much, Kara. So this has become kind of an education to me. And one thing that I've found is, and I just have some handouts. So I don't know if everyone on the council has seen this handout.
Both familiar to me, we received it by email.
Okay. This is a handout that is being distributed by a local group that is working with the unsheltered, and what it makes it very difficult. Like on here, it says that you will not be arrested if you are criminally trespassing. If you are, if you have any type, actually, I'm gonna steal one of them for just a minute. So it says the cops should not arrest you or give you a citation for any of the above listed crimes. Public drinking, possession of scheduled drugs, criminal trespass, indecent conduct, disorderly conduct. So indecent conduct, for instance, has a toilet as the symbol. So I can tell you a few more personal stories about people going to the bathroom on my property. We'll leave it at that. And like I said, as a concerned citizen, it's difficult for the police when we kind of tie their hands and don't allow them to charge people with these serious offenses. And, you know, fortunately, as a house person, if I did any of these things, I would be, you know, I would be arrested. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I appreciate all you do and hope to help do more in the future.
Thank you. Don't see anyone else in the room. I do see we have a couple of hands on. We have Jay Gray first.
Hello, Madam Chair and council members. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Jeff Gray and I live at 100 Lancaster Avenue. And my neighbors and I are concerned about the oversight at the Main Woods site on Lancaster Avenue. As you know, we had to take the city to court to get them to follow their own ordinances over this project. And we won. And as a result of that, the work has stopped at the Main Woods project and the site has been laid up for the winter. As expected, the site flooded during the rainstorm today, and the runoff ended up down on Alden Street and Broadway. We feel this is a very dangerous situation, especially given the construction that's going on at Broadway and I-95 right now. It's kind of a mess anyway, and we just feel like this flooding is going to exacerbate that situation. Do you folks, first of all, I guess I'd like to know if you've you're up to speed on this problem, and if there's been any talk with either the Public Works folks or the city engineer on what the plan is to remedy this situation. So I couldn't hear you.
No, I was looking to turn a mic on, so I am actually I was not aware of this occurring today, so I will circle up with the appropriate staff today, and I do have all of your addresses and names, and I'll circle back up with you tomorrow to see kind of what the status of that site is.
Okay. It's a very serious situation, and we would appreciate any help that you folks could give us on this matter. We feel it's kind of dangerous or very dangerous. And how much more time do I have, Madam Chair?
I believe you have about another minute.
Okay, I just want to quickly touch on the same subject that Brian spoke about earlier. We are under the 3-minute rule at the planning board hearings as well. And the next meeting they have, they're going to talk about the conditional use permit for this project. And the findings and opinions that we have are very complex, very technical in nature, and it's going to take us more than 3 minutes to discuss those. Is there any way that we could get some extra time at that hearing such that we could present our findings and facts and opinions in a more cohesive fashion and not be under the 3-minute gun? I've got a presentation that I want to present to them. It's going to take probably 10 or 15 minutes to get it all out, but they need to hear it. They got in trouble last year because they didn't have all the information they needed to make the correct decision. And we want to make sure that they have all the information they need. And it's just going to take a little bit longer than 3 minutes to present that. Is there any way that you folks can maybe get us a chance to have a little bit more time at that next meeting? Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask the city manager, maybe the city solicitor, to respond to that. As the council chair, I don't have any say over how the planning board runs their meetings and how long they give people. But I do know that at least with city council, in addition to coming to public comment, we always offer people the opportunity to submit anything in writing that they want by email, but I just want to see, maybe Dave, if you could respond.
The chair of the planning board conducts, the procedure at the public hearing and who gets what time. This matter is also in litigation. And, Mr. Gray's attorney has emailed me. And, I let him know today that I received his email and that I'll be getting back to him, but it is a matter that's in litigation. They have representation. We are represented, in that matter. So, it's not something that should be, that the city council should be involved in at this time.
Thank you.
It is the planning board chair's, decision regarding the time for, that's allowed during public hearing, which is over.
Thank you. Next we have Mike Teller.
Yes, hello, am I online?
Yes.
Okay, I addressed a little bit, a statement the woman was talking about the tents coming into her private property. You know, the major issue really is people don't have a place to stay. The statewide Homeless Council has recommended they don't really want sanctioned encampments, but they're saying we really need an overflow area where there isn't any place for people to stay. We can't just arrest them. We can't just cite them. We can't just make them disappear. People are going to be around. We can make life difficult for them. We can make sure that they cannot put their life together later by giving them all kinds of arrest warrants and everything else, but it really doesn't help. One thing that might help, a little while ago, I was listening and I can't remember what meeting it was, whether it was on rent control or whether it was on short-term stays. Of course, those were the subject matters, but some of the landlords that were there said they did have empty space that could not be used because of city ordinances. A simple change in those city ordinances could help more people be housed. Therefore, there would not be as many people out in tents wandering around or just sleeping outside. And I'm going to divert a little bit here and give a little personal experience. Through some of bad decisions that I made, I ended up with a car that broke down up by the encampment. My phone went dead. I walked to meet somebody who had a charger so they could find where it was. It was cold. I didn't have my jacket with me. I come close to hypothermia. I made one call before the phone went dead, in desperate plea for help. That individual came. Also put out a call to the ambulance because I was in bad shape. He found me first, picked me up, put me in my car, put me in his vehicle to help me start warming up. It just made me more compassionate for those people who are outside with no heat as the weather's getting colder. It was not a pleasant experience for me. And yes, maybe I made some bad decisions, but it could have been life-threatening. And this is what these people outside are facing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike. Councilor Trumbull?
Okay, yeah, can I ask just a couple questions that pertain to some public comment we heard?
Sure.
One is for the, one is just a question, not to be answered tonight, but I think irrespective of what the planning board decides on that Lancaster Avenue project, I kind of would like to know what we find out when we look into it about the runoff. I know we get presentations on silt fencing and all that stuff all the time about projects. So when you find out what the situation, can you just include us in that answer? And then another question is for the police chief. Is this, I guess I did see that we got this in some email or someplace last week, but is this a result of the Attorney General's directive from a few years ago that they are saying that they feel comfortable putting something like this out?
Yes, the Attorney General was directed by the legislature to push out a procedure, a preferred model. So it's not an absolute. An officer still has the option to charge individuals who are engaged in criminal conduct.
Yeah.
The legislature would prefer in certain circumstances that we do not.
But it's not law. I mean, what if we in the Anglo City Council say, you know, the legislature's nuts. We're not gonna pay any attention to this. We're gonna do what we wanna do. Do we, I mean, how strong is this directive? If
It's
you
not
say-
law.
Okay, so, but the Attorney General might not, I mean, the Attorney General doesn't prosecute these cases, it's a DA's office anyways. The DA's office gonna say, we're not gonna prosecute some of these cases, or, I mean, what do you think?
They could, I don't know that to be true, but
Yeah.
they could.
I mean, I'm not saying we completely disregard it, but I mean, I think this seems like we've lost some common sense in some of these cases, in my opinion, but, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. We have one more on Zoom, Lisa?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name's Lisa, and I have a concern because I am a homeless with single mother with 2 children, and I can't get housed anywhere like in a shelter because I have children. So that's a concern for me. It's very, very sad that we can't get help or placed somewhere with 2 kids. I'm sleeping in a car. Did I lose you?
Nope, we're here. Did you have more
So
to add?
no resources at all. I've been working with HRS and Panquist. I filled out for housing. It's 4 to 5 years on a waiting list. So where can we go for help?
I will, so this is Debbie, I'm the city manager, Lisa, and I will reach out to community health and counseling tomorrow, to see who you're working with.
Yep, I've been working with them for a little over a week now. And today I went there for an appointment and the lady had something else to do and she never showed up for the appointment.
I will follow up with the CEO tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
You have a phone and they have the contact, so I'll make sure that somebody reaches out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Looking to see if there are any other hands on Zoom. I don't see any. Yes.
Mark Gibson, Fieldstone Drive. I perform a service for a number of small.
I can really hear.
Sorry, we're trying to get.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
One of the administrators in one of my communities was exiting the Bangor Mall near Chick-fil-A. And the perennial homeless guy with his cardboard sign was there in the median. A car stopped, man got out, pulled a wheelchair from the vehicle and pushed it over to where the homeless guy was standing. He then sat down, the homeless man handed him the sign, and then he proceeded to get in the car and drive away. One might be inclined to sympathy if it weren't for the fact that we think we're being scammed. I was sitting in front on Main Street on one of the benches down there. This is a couple of years ago. I had one of those IBC root beers in my hand. It's a plain bottle. It could look like a beer bottle. 2 police officers pulled up and asked me why I was drinking in public. And I assumed they would have cited me. So a taxpayer can be cited, but these people can't. Something is wrong here. I'll exempt the 2 new members of the city council, but some of you here tonight and some of the previous members of this council are politically responsible for this. It hasn't been that many years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, Bangor was rated as number 5 best places for people 65 and over to live. I'd be willing to bet that's no longer the case. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda.
Minutes of Bangor City Council regular meeting of November 27th, 2023. Finance Committee meeting of December 4th, 2023. Government Operations Committee meeting of December 4th, 2023. Business and Economic Development Committee meeting of December 4th, 2023. Liquor license renewals, application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirits of Resco LLC, doing business as Hilton Garden Inn, 250 Haskell Road. Application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirit with Kobe Ninja House, Inc., doing business as Kobe Ninja House, 829 Hogan Road. Application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirits of Rare Hospitality Management, LLC, doing business as Longhorn Steakhouse, number 5343, 605 Hogan Road. Application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirits of Umami LLC, doing business as Umami Noodle Bar, 1 Main Street. Application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirits of AK George, doing business as Lazy Howe, 10 Broad Street. Application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirits of 2 Feet Brewing Inc., doing business as 2 Feet Brewing, 80 Quantum Street. Application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirits of Timber Kitchen LLC, doing business as Timber Kitchen and Bar, 22 Bassett Park Boulevard. Application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirits of Dorks R Us, doing business as Bangor Courtyard Marriott, 236 Sylvan Road. 24-039 order authorizing the execution of a municipal bill of sale located at 16B Street, Birch Hill Estates. 24-040 order authorizing the execution of municipal bill of sale located at 27B Street, Birch Hill Estates. 24-041 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 59 Savage Street. 24-042 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 147 Randolph Drive. 24-043 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 315 Silver Road. 24-044 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 333 Union Street. 24-045 order authorizing correction of council order 23-282, authorizing execution of municipal quitclaim deed for Benjamin's Way. 24-046 order appointing constables for the year 2024. 24-047 order authorizing execution of a credit enhancement agreement with 27 State LLC for property at 27 State Street.
I move passage of the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion, we have a second. Questions or discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Dean,
Yes.
Councilor Fish,
Yes.
Councilor Fournier.
Yes.
Councilor Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilor Trumbull,
Yes.
Councilor Pelletier,
Yes,
6 yes, 0 no.
consent agenda has passage. Unfinished business.
24-005 ordinance amending chapter 165 land development code, district map to rezone property located at 424 State Street from urban residence 1 district URD 1 to government and institutional service district GNISD. Councilor Trumbull.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Chair, I would move for passage of ordinance 24-005.
Second.
This would amend the land development code district map to rezone the property at map plot 59-004 located at 424 State Street from URD 1 to government and institutional service district. The total area requested to be changed is approximately 1.03 acres. The applicant and owner of record is James Butler. The neighborhood around the property consists of primarily institutional uses and residential uses. The zoning in the area is primarily a mixture of GNISD and URD 1. This area is within the growth boundary shown in the 2022 comprehensive plan, and the future land use map, and the plan shows this property in the neighborhood institutional area, which consists of institutional uses such as schools, hospitals, and medical centers, interspersed with medium density residential development. This item was reviewed and recommended for passage 6-1 at the planning board meeting on December 5th.
We have a motion, we have a second. Questions or comments? Roll call vote.
Councilor Dean,
Yes.
Councilor Fish,
Yes.
Councilor Fournier,
Yes.
Councilor Schaefer,
Yes.
Council Trumbull?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
6 yes, 0 no.
Item 24-005 has passage.
24-034 resolve appropriating $475,000 in Maine Department of Transportation funding and ratifying city manager's execution of an agreement 026053.05 for an Ohio Street mill and fill, Thomas Hill Road, extending northerly to I-95 project, California.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This resolve will ratify the city manager's action to execute an agreement with Maine Department of Transportation for WIN number 026053.05 Ohio Street Mill and Fill project. The project consists of a mill and fill starting at the intersection of Thomas Hill Road, extending northerly to I-95. The estimated project cost is $950,000, of which the state share is 50% or $475,000, and the city share is 50% or $475,000. This project was previously reviewed and recommended at the November 22nd. Is this the right date?
Yep.
2022 Infrastructure Committee meeting, and the local share of the funding was approved as part of the fiscal year 2024 budget. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for resolve 24-034.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Council Dean? Yes. Council Fish?
Yes.
Council Fortier?
Yes.
Council Schaefer?
Yes.
Council Trumbull?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
6 yes, 0 no.
Item 24-034 has passed.
24-035 resolve appropriating $625,000 in Maine Department of Transportation funding and ratifying city manager's execution of an agreement 026053.06 for an Ohio Street mill and fill, Bailey Street to Crestwood Place project. Council Dean?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move passage of Council Resolve 24-035.
Second.
This resolve will ratify the city manager's action to execute an agreement with Maine Department of Transportation for WIN number 26053.06 Ohio Mill and Fill project. The project consists of mill and fill starting at the intersection of Bailey Street, extending northerly to Crestwood Place. The estimated project cost is $1,250,000, of which the state share is 50%, or $625,000. And the city's share is 50%, or $625,000. This project was previously reviewed at the November 22nd, 2022 Infrastructure Committee meeting, and the local share of this funding was approved as part of fiscal year 2024 budget.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a second. Are there any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Council Dean?
Yes.
Council Fish?
Yes.
Council Fortier?
Yes.
Council Schaefer?
Yes.
Council Trumbull?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
6 yes, 0 no.
Item 24-035 has passage. New business.
Public hearing, application for special amusement license renewal of Resco LLC, doing business as Hilton Garden Inn, 250 Haskell Road, California.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'd like to open up the public hearing for the application for the special amusement.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Roll call vote.
Council Dean?
Yes.
Council Fish?
Yes.
Council Fortier?
Yes.
Council Schaefer?
Yes.
Council Trumbull?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
6 yes, 0 no.
Public hearing is open.
Seeing nobody approach, I'd like to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Roll call vote.
Council Dean?
Yes.
Council Fish?
Yes.
Council Fortier?
Yes.
Council Schaefer?
Yes.
Council Trumbull?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
6 yes, 0 no.
Public hearing is closed.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to support the application for special amusement license renewal for Resco LLC, doing business as Hilton Garden Inn at 250 Haskell Road.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. questions or comments? Roll call vote?
Council Dean?
Yes.
Council Fish?
Yes.
Council Fournier?
Yes.
Council Schaefer?
Yes.
Council Trumbull?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
6 yes, 0 no.
Application has passed.
24-048, order authorizing contract with KRT appraisal for the property equalization project and evaluation in the amount of $750,000. Councilor Schaefer?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move passage of order 24-048.
Second.
This order will authorize the execution of a contract with KRT appraisal for the property equalization project revaluation in the amount of $750,000. Property equalization project is a combination of a full citywide revaluation and the implementation of new computer-assisted map appraisal software. The project will provide up-to-date property data, which will be collected during property inspections to be held from 2024 to 2026. The CAMA software will use that data to calculate values in line with market values as of 2020. The last citywide revaluation was performed in the 1980s. The city issues an RFP for the project and the city issued an RFP for the project and received two responses, one from KRT appraisal for $750,000 and one from Vision Government Solutions for $1,260,000. Staff reviewed work and spoke with other communities in Maine and New Hampshire that had used KRT for revaluation projects. All recommended KRT were completely satisfied with their work. This item was reviewed by the Finance Committee at the December 4th, 2023 meeting.
Thank you. We have a motion and we have a second. Are there questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote?
Councilor Dean?
Yes.
Councilor Fish?
Yes.
Council Fournier?
Yes.
Council Schaefer?
Yes.
Council Trumbull?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
6 yes, 0 no.
Item 24-048 has passage.
24-049, order directing the city manager to take possession of property located at 66 Smith Street. Councilor Trumbull?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move passage of order 24-049, Madam Chair.
Second.
This order will direct the city manager to take possession of the property at 66 Smith Street by virtue of the 2021 mature tax lien. The city of Bangor has recorded several tax and stormwater liens on the property at 66 Smith Street. Several of the liens have matured, and the city has made several attempts to work with the property owners to no avail. The property is vacant and has either been placarded or has code violations that the owners have failed to resolve. At this time, it is deemed to be in the city's best interest to take possession of the property.
We have a motion and a second. Are there questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote?
Councilor Dean? Council Fish?
Yes.
Council Fournier?
Yes.
Council Schaefer?
Yes.
Council Trumbull?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
6 yes, 0 no.
Item 24-049 has passage.
24-050, order directing the city manager to take possession of the property located at 232 Birch Street. Council Fournier?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This order will direct the city manager to take possession of the property located at 232 Birch Street by virtue of the 2021 mature tax lien. The city of Bangor has recorded several tax and stormwater liens on the property at 232 Birch Street. Several of the liens have matured, and the city has made several attempts to work with the property owners to no avail. The property is vacant and has either been placarded and or has code violations that the owners have failed to resolve. At this time, it is deemed to be in the city's best interest to take possession of the property. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion, passage on order 24-050.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a second. Questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilor Dean?
Yes.
Council Fish?
Yes.
Council Fournier?
Yes.
Council Schaefer?
Yes.
Council Trumbull?
Yes.
Council Pelletier?
Yes.
6 yes, 0 no.
Item 24-050 has passage. This brings us to the end of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Any comments from staff? Thank you.
Last meeting in this room.
It is the last meeting and before we move to our temporary home down the street. And this room is renovated and relocated to the first floor. So take it all in, say your goodbyes. We will miss it, but not the heat, for sure. Counselor Dean, any closing remarks?
No, I just appreciate everyone that has come out tonight and all the comments, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Thank you. Counselor Schaefer?
Thank you. I was just gonna comment on it being the last meeting in this room, which is sort of an historic evening and relatively run-of-the-mill meeting, but be interesting to see what the next chambers looks like, and I really am looking forward to it being more accessible for all citizens of Bangor, for not just the meetings, but also the services on the first floor. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Counselor Fournier?
I'll just echo as far as moving out of this place, going into the new, looking forward to being on the first floor. And I will just say happy holidays, everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you. Counselor Trumbull?
Yeah, thanks. So I was actually gonna comment on the last time we'll use this room as a council room. Since 1969, the city councils met in this chamber. Before that, I think it was a federal courtroom. But there's a lot of history that's taken place here. I think we've had 5 city managers since 1969. And a number of councilors, and most of the councilors have been just average people that work day jobs and come and serve in the city council. We've got people going on to the Congress and Senate and Secretary of Defense. So you never know where you're gonna end up after the city council. So I'm looking forward to the new chamber. I think my first time in the city council chambers was about 50 years ago. I was doing a story for the school newspaper on the city council meeting. So that's when Abraham Lincoln was torn down. They were building the new school. So see you in 2 weeks in the new chambers. Good night.
Counselor Fish?
I'm just sorry I couldn't be there tonight, but there's a lot of germs going around and unfortunately I caught one. But I'm very much looking forward to this transition and feel lucky to be able to in the future be part of the new facility as we move into it down the road. And just like to wish everybody happy and healthy holidays.
Thank you. I will say, over the weekend, I had the opportunity to welcome a very large number. I want to say it was almost 100 authors, Maine authors, to the Bangor Public Library to celebrate the Maine Authors Festival and Book Fair. I learned when I was there, it was the largest book fair in the state of Maine, largest authors gathering ever, which I think is fantastic. Congratulations to the organizer, Chris Packard. Congratulations to the Bangor Public Library for rethinking and reinventing that space over the weekend to make it so welcoming. It was busy and it was joyous, and I spent a lot of money on books. So I hope it was very effective for them, but it was joyful. Also wanted to say, on a personal note, today is my parents' 52nd wedding anniversary. Oh, wow. And although they retired to North Carolina, they spent many decades here in Bangor. So happy anniversary to Larry and Joyce. And good night. We're adjourned.
Dan, I have seen that, and we have been married.
Yeah.
I got one, another one at the book fair and took it to our family.
No, I told Zach.